Testing 1, 2, 3. Hey, that's a little bit better. Now there ought to be audio. There we go, yep. Sorry, audio interface was off. It's the problem with fancy microphones and such. Okay, now we're live and ready to get to work here. Unboxing. You want to help? Yeah, didn't think so. All right. So we got the Q1 Pro here. We're going to see if this is going to be a shocking experience or what. So, no, I haven't watched anybody's... I didn't watch Adam's video, but I definitely... video and or stream, but I'm well aware of what's up with the heater element in here. So, we're going to take a look. We'll find out. Let me quote tweet myself. I can type. Typing at a downward angle is so strange. Okay. Sharing. Cool. Now we're good. EP Cat. Yeah, I woke her up for the stream. She was sleeping in a bed under the desk. So, good afternoon. Welcome, Aaron. Okay. The Q1 Pro. This has been here for weeks. New printer from the folks at Qidi Tech. I haven't bothered to unbox it because, well, I don't do reviews anymore. And I didn't feel like testing it previously. So here we are. To me, I wanted to unbox it live, see what we think, and we'll go from there. This is my stream. Yes, it is. She knows what's up. Gene, are you gonna fall asleep sitting there? All right. Let's get a downward view on what you get in the box. I gotta switch the obs bot so we can actually point down here. Obs bot angle. I'm zoomed way the hell in. Let's try that. All right. Look out, kiddo. They think you're beautiful, Gene. All right. So this styrofoam. First time I've had styrofoam in a while. Ugh, hate this. You don't walk on the keyboard, please. Yeah, thank you. Got a quick start guide in the box. A piddly amount of filament comes with this thing. Don't dare try a firmware update on stream. Yes, I won't. I've made that mistake. Qidi updates on firmware are ridiculously slow. So no, I will not be updating firmware on stream. You are correct. Maker Viking, welcome. Tor, welcome. This filament spool holder. I did watch. I usually try to avoid videos before I get something out of the box or start messing with it, but I did watch Angus's video on this machine, Maker's Muse. A little USB stick. Some glue stick too. Gene does not look impressed. Gene is a snob about printers, so to her, if it's not a spaceship or a Voron, she's like, I don't know about that. Power cable, of course. Add that to the pile. Cute little scraper. I like that. Good handle on it. A flathead screwdriver. Jean wants the big box. She does want the big box, you're right. A little bit of thermal paste. Acupuncture needle. Some hex wrenches. Ball hex. And some sticky pads. I don't know what the sticky pads are for. Careful with the chamber heater. Yeah, we're going to take a look at that. I haven't seen anybody confirm that the 110 volt heaters are also... Lost my mouse. Too many screens. I haven't seen anybody confirm that the 110 volt heaters are a problem yet, because Adam tested his and showed that his is the problem. I think DIY Perspective did as well, but I believe they're both in Europe. So I mean, Adam's in the UK. But can you use PC thermal paste on printers? No. You could. I don't recommend it. Some of them claim temperature ratings up higher. They really don't hold up. Now, all thermal pastes get really dry and like turn to issue at higher temperatures. What I use is Slice Engineering's boron nitride paste. This stuff is good to like 500 plus degrees Celsius, I believe. I use this on nozzles, on heater elements, on thermistors, heat breaks on the cold side. I'll use it there. So I use this stuff all over the place on printers. Yeah, so boron nitride paste. Anything lower, you can use it for electronics. Yes, regular PC paste could be used for electronics. So, what was I trying to think of? I just did that on the Trident. Something I was doing on the Trident build, I used Noctua paste on it for something. I can't remember what, but oh, the motors. So the motors on the Trident, I put heat sinks on the motors. The motors at highest should be in the 100 to 200 Celsius range. It can be wildly varied in there. But those heat sinks, I used regular PC thermal paste on that because that's not 200, 300, 400 degrees Celsius. So I used Cryonaut, actually. Thermal Grizzly Cryonaut. That's what I use on my PCs these days. So that's what I used on those heat sinks too. Okay, that tea's too hot. All right, time to get the printer out of here. I hate this. I hate this. Bamboo, I feel like started... Here's another thing where people copy Bamboo, and I hate it so freaking much. Holy crap, my feed on YouTube is so far behind. It always does that. Let's get this out of the box and you'll see what I mean. Something I hate is that everybody copied that Bamboo put their printers in bags. And they literally want you to pull it out by a plastic bag. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. It's way too big, way too heavy of a machine to be picking it up by a piece of packing tape and some plastic. Grasp in the middle of the bag and take out the machine. Weight is about 17 kilograms. That came from the world of paper printers. Yeah. Got some of this air packing material around the machine. And some decent foam in the bottom. Bean, I got you a box. You got a box, kid. Little corner protectors, I take those out of there in case she does jump into the box. She won't hurt herself. Okay, let's get this thing out of the bag. Printer with a live chamber heater. I'm gonna give my input on this, and I'll give my input on this once we check it, because I have two thoughts about this chamber heater. One, I don't have any problem with it. Two, I might have a problem with it. Like, if it's live all the time is what it really comes down to. Adams, or somebody seemed to indicate it might be live all the time. If it's live just as soon as you plug it in, and it just requires a control circuit to kick it actually on, okay, that's a problem. Ugh, I hate these plastic bags. If it's only live when energized... Bye, Bean. If it's only live when energized, I don't really see a point. Giant box or play with noise-making plastic. Deep Kitty a dilemma. You're right. She's investigating the box right now. She just went to go investigate the box. Jean is very much a box cat. She is very much a box cat. Okay. The cheapy top on here. Don't get shocked. Thanks, Joel. 3D printing nerd in the house. Thanks. We're going to check mine in a minute. What are my plans for this thing? I don't have any. It exists. That's the plan. Here's the way I handle 3D printers these days. 100% transparency with you folks. When I'm reached out to by a company and they say, hey, we got this new printer coming out. What do you think? What do you blah, blah, blah. My instant reaction is I make no guarantee of coverage without sponsorship. If you're going to pay to have me display and advertise your product, we can talk. Otherwise, send it at your own risk. I may never talk about your machine at all. Like the Creality K1. I really never talked about the Creality K1 outside of like my Christmas Black Friday video. I just never had a reason. I just didn't. And it never really struck my fancy. I didn't have it. It was when I decided to stop doing reviews. And so I never talked about it. They sent it. I tried it out for a little while. I used it. I showed it in a couple of videos here and there. And that was it. And it's pretty much the same with this. They're not sponsoring. They just sent it at their own risk. And we're unboxing it. And that's all I have planned for it. I don't even know what else I'll do with it after this. What temp does the chamber get to? Nuno chimed in with 60C. Yes, 60C is the rated temperature on the chamber heater. Chamber heating. Okay, we got a couple of zip ties up in here. Live fins on the heater, same as any cheap space heater that people think nothing about. That's kind of where I'm landing on this right now. Toaster ovens, toasters, space heaters. These are readily available products in the US, around the world, that all have live circuits that you could easily harm yourself with. But this printer that has a shroud around it at the back edge of a machine where you're going to be running it in an enclosure, people are getting freaked out that it has a potential live circuit. Now, if it's live as soon as I turn the machine on to the heater circuit all the time, that I have a problem with. If it's only when energized, when heating, well, the damn thing's going to get hot. You shouldn't be touching it anyway. My V0 has gotten well over 60, little toasty thing. Yeah, but it's also very tiny and there's so little space inside of there to be an issue. Like my 2.4, you can't see it right now. My 2.4 has, at the highest ever, gotten to like 48. Do not use printer in the bathtub. Yeah, that's a good point. You just made me think of a meme I should probably go film now. My 2.4 only gets like 40, 45 degrees Celsius in the chamber. Like, that's just what it is. Bigger machine, bigger volume, a lot more space to heat up. All right, see if the OBSBot gets a good camera angle here. You're getting to 64C in your 2.4? How? I'm amazed by that, honestly. I wonder if you don't have a bad thermistor on your chamber temp. Where is your chamber temp sensor is probably a really good question. My chamber temp sensor, I've got one at the base on the bottom extrusion at the back and one on the gantry extrusion. It never gets over 46 on the gantry extrusion one. I've got a Nevermore under there circulating air around. Bed fans, same here, 50C on my 350. Maybe I should add some bed fans. Trident with clacky door getting to 65. Huh. When measured at the gantry. All right. I can get to 60C with the 300 cube. All right. I have way better hopes for my Trident build, or my next 2.4 build, because I'm doing a fully insulated 2.4, one-piece door, and I'm actually adding active chamber heating to it. So I was only expecting 60 to 70C out of that, but bed fans help a lot. All right. Maybe I'll add some bed fans on the Trident. I wasn't going to. All right. We got a handful of zip ties up in here. I don't know if you can see that very well. Not particularly. On the tool head, holding it in place for transit. Alright. Naughty, naughty Voron with the chamber heater. I know. I won't be able to talk about it on Discord. Oh no. Oh no. Alright. And one more back here. Good thing I didn't do that blindly. I might have cut the belt. Next to a room radiator. I mean, that's active chamber heating, right? What's wrong with chamber heating in a Voron? The Voron Discord does not allow discussion of chamber heating. It's just a thing. I understand why they do it. It's because they don't want to be spreading information about how to actively heat your Voron. And then have a heater element like this that's hot all the time, or you could get hurt yourself on the electrical, or you or catches fire, or melts your components inside of your machine. A mostly printed 3D printer is going to have that problem. I'll design up some of my own bed fans. Thank you very much. I'm going to be using 24 volt bed heater personally, or bed heater, active chamber heating in my 2.4 build, not line voltage. That's what I'm going to be using, 24 volt. Actually, the heater that I'm going to be using in my 2.4 build, talking about your your V2, are you releasing the extruder electronics door? I already did. It's on my thanks page. I've got the error. I've got the one for just using the EBB 2209, and then I have one for the EBB 2209 with Galileo. Both of them are on my thangs page. Thangs.com/MandicReally. Where'd you get the heater? From Qidi. That's what I didn't finish that sentence. The 24 volt active heater that I'm going to be using in my Voron build is from Qidi Tech. It's from the X Max 3 or the X Plus 3. It's the same chamber heater they were running in the previous machines. The problem with active heaters, if the fan failed, the heat element may go red hot and start a fire. Absolutely true. I'm planning to integrate some type of fire suppression into the setup for the build, just to be safe. That's absolutely true. If it gets stuck on, if the fan fails, it could go red hot. Now, Klipper thermal controls should activate and kick in at some point in there. And also, a lot of PTC heaters have their own fail-safes that will cut out at a certain temperature as well. But I would try bed fans before adding the complexity of a heater. I think you'd be surprised. Let's try both. Why not? Here's the thing. I kind of have to start with the heater because I need to make space for the heater to exist in. So if I'm going to build the machine thinking of potentially putting a heater in, it needs to be designed around that. Am I going to use the bed heater on the Octopus board for the control? Yes. I'm going to use the bed heater on the Octopus. Well, it's not. I'm going to run a Kraken board on that, but I'm going to use the bed heater circuit to control the chamber heater. It's a 350 watt 24 volt heater. So I'm going to use that control circuit to control the heater. And then I'll just, tag the SSR for the bed off of the second extruder instead of heat bed. Okay. So we got a really, really plasticky door and a really, really plasticky frame on the thing. Exterior frame. PEI, double-sided, powder-coated PEI bed sheet. This says 250 by 250. The build volume on the Q1 Pro is 245 cubed. 245 cubed, according to Qidi. I'll have to look in there a little more. Why not add fans to your Kun 2.4 and go from there? I don't know, maybe I will. I don't feel like taking my current 2.4 apart. It honestly worked perfectly fine as is. Simply put, I'm going to test it out. You know, like, why not? I'm going to be building the insulated 2.4. It's going to be the size frame point to get to that point. So why not? Yes. We almost the entire discussion has been about the chamber heater on this thing so far. So let's get it fired up, and we'll grab a multimeter and check out the heater element in here. Okay. Oh, and we got the touch screen to get the peel off of. Okay. Let's get this out of here, or fired up. Oh, 4 screws holding the bed down inside of here. Let me get the other camera angle changed up real quick so you folks can get a view inside. Alright, other camera angle. Let me get the bed screws out from inside of here. Shipping tape on the inside back too. Yep, you're right. I'm pretty sure I saw Angus in his video still had that on his machine. Oh, they heat shrunk these together. That's cute. That's cute. Now I gotta cut the heat shrink. They did too good of a job. Alright. There's 4 screws, 2 to each side of the bed here. Wait. 2 to each side of the bed, holding the bed down for transport. I gotta get out. Ow. As I scrape my arm on the inside of the plastic frame. It's so weird that there's a purge bucket in this thing. I don't quite get that. Love how interactive you are with chat. That's so good to see. Thank you. Does this have a probe or inductive sensor? This machine has an inductive sensor on the tool head, and it also has bed load cells. So it uses the inductive sensor for bed leveling, and then it uses the bed load cells for automatic Z offset. Why it doesn't use the load cells for everything, I have no idea. I don't know if they weren't reliable or not. Like, it's weird to me that it has both. I'm back. Late though, thanks to YouTube notification, 1.75 speed, and here I am. Welcome for catching up, Maddie, or welcome to the caught up chat. Maddie? Okay, those are out. The tape off the inside back of here. This poo chute. Is the load cell the same as a piezo sensor? Yeah, effective. Not necessarily. A piezo sensor, piezoelectric means that it is self-signal generating. A piezo element can generate its own voltage. A load cell does not necessarily generate its own voltage, but may be actuated by a load upon it. So I'm not an electrical engineer, so I don't know this exactly. I'm sure there probably is such a thing as a piezo load sensor, but a load sensor is not necessarily piezo. That's the way my understanding will work. I believe a load cell is generally an item that changes resistance under load. So there's a voltage applied to it, and as a load is applied, the resistance varies, and that's what's read. Don't quote me on that. Get the multimeter ready. Yeah, it's ready. All right. This is all really dumb. Miss Jean might as well stay with the printer. I mean, if you have to, right? We're getting to the point where it might be too dangerous for Jean to be around. All right, let me grab the multimeter and let's put some power to this thing. Grab the multimeter, we'll put some power to this thing. Okay. Set this to volts. And AC. Resistance changes when a load is applied. Yeah, okay. I think that's the primary way load sensors work. So they're not piezo, just an almost similar concept. Not exactly. All right. Let me find a ground point on the chassis that I can ground the probe to, or the multimeter to. And I better check, do a quick continuity test to make sure that that's working the way I'm hoping it will. Not really. Problem, it's a powder coated frame, so checking the active heater. Yes, we are. That's exactly what we're about to do. I gotta find a good ground. Gotta find a good ground point. Ah! Both leads are red. I know, I know. I don't know where the black one went some time ago. So here we are. Now that one's working. No. Alright. Let's pop the electronics panel off and take a look inside a while, and then I'll grab a ground off of that. That way we'll know we're testing properly. Looking at this, it looks like it's the whole darn back panel, so let me change this camera angle real quick. And we'll get this back panel off. $7 million screws, yeah, something like that. At least it's a shatterproof door, yeah. Uncle Jesse proof. That's a little tight. Let me grab the LTT screwdriver. Wrong bit size. Still the wrong bit size. That's good. Plastic door will get fingerprint coated. Yeah, I mean, so do all doors, really. Like, the doors on my 2.4 with the acrylic are covered in fingerprints, always. You can shatter any door if you use it wrong enough, you know? That's reasonable. I'm seeing something I think is a really dumb design inside here. We're going to take a look real soon. We shall find out. Thoughts on the LTT screwdriver? I have two of them. I love them. I'm a big fan of the LTT screwdriver. It's the best ratcheting screwdriver I've personally ever used, and I used to sell tools for a living. Aaron, welcome. I know it's expensive, and if it's too expensive for you, I understand that, but I really think it's a good value for what it is. Check the SSR underneath. Okay. I'm gonna take the bottom panel off too. Maybe. That's a little smaller. What size is that? Side screws are like 2.5, not 2. Or not 3. It's expensive, but it's also a write-off. I mean, hey, that's I'm pretty sure that's my favorite saying of all time. Favorite alternative is a Cobalt one. I don't remember if I've tried a Cobalt one lately. Are these production units? They're supposed to be production units. That's something people keep saying, oh, they better fix this before production. They're already in production. To my knowledge, these machines are released and available in shipping right now. They're not, it's not like a pre-order. They're just available. So, to my knowledge, these are production units. I definitely never signed up for a beta test or any such thing. Granted, I never freaking know. I didn't do that with the original X-Max either, and they stopped production on the original X-Max, so... Are there underside screws too on this panel? Feels like there probably are. They're already in warehouses, yeah. To my knowledge, that's true. Are you holding this spool holder? Yeah. The shipping to Australia on the LTT screwdriver is sucky. Yeah, unfortunate fact of life. I know they've talked about numerous times trying to improve the international shipping costs, but you know, as a small business myself, there's only so much you can do. I know that. Waiting on the SVO8. It appears to be a 350 style, like a Core XY machine. Huh. I have heard nothing about it. I have zero relationship with Soval. Never have. Do not, never have. That's loose. Oh, one screw I missed. Let's just force it off. Let's just force it off. All right. Back panel. Okay. Inside the electronics box. Okay, here's a really dumb thing I spotted while taking the panel off. The snap-on screwdriver is not the basis for the LTT screwdriver. Mega Pro is the basis for the LTT screwdriver. They worked with Mega Pro to produce it. Okay, the dumb thing. Can anybody spot the dumb thing that I spotted while taking this apart? It's a little dark probably on camera. This fan right here is a chamber temperature regulation fan. So it draws heat out from inside of a chamber to cool the chamber off, right? Or to like filter out air, though there's no filter. It just dumps into the electronics box. So it's going to take hot air out of the chamber and just dump it inside of the electronics box. There's a 40 millimeter fan down here blowing up across the main board. But there should be a duct on this. There's a hole. There's an opening on the back panel. Like, that's the opening on the back panel, but when I was taking this off, I could see that there's no duct. There's nothing. So air just comes out of there and heads into the chamber. Electronics box seems stuffed. Not really. It's not very well cable managed, but okay, hey, good ground right there. It's a cleaned off spot on the frame. Gooey ABS fumes too. Very good point. Uncovered mains terminals that could come in contact with a screwdriver. You have to be opening the electronics box to access this, which was behind what, a dozen screws. So I am not going to fault them for this. Like, I guess I'm more lenient than some other people, but like, if you're opening up the electronics box of a 3D printer and you shock yourself, that's kind of on you at that point. My opinion. Everything else is looking all right, as far as I can see. Set to 115 properly. Is it an MKS board? It doesn't say. It's some type of clone board, but I would imagine it's based off of the MKS, because it definitely looks similar but different. Doesn't look like the MKS. Trying to remember what boards I'm thinking of, but yeah, looks similar to the board that they ran in the last one, which was MKS, maker base based. Okay, let's flip it up. I guess the SSR is underneath, somebody said. I believe Carrie said that the SSR is underneath. Let me take a look underneath. Oh yes, the SSR is underneath. All right. Down here. There is high voltage inside. There's a definite clear warning on this one. Do not access. Skipper. Yes, that's what I'm thinking of, Skipper. It's not a Skipper board, but it's similar. MakerBase is pretty known to, what is an SSR? Solid state relay. SSR is a solid state relay, so this would be what would control the line voltage to either the bed or the chamber heater. I don't know which yet. Yeah, that looks normal, fine. I'm gonna put the cover back on that since I did find a good point inside. No, inside is not spelled correctly. I don't know if you can see that, probably not. Inside is there is high voltage LNSIDE. Side. Side. I gotta get a better shot of that. Good call. Alright. I'm gonna put this cover back on. I don't really have any need for this to be off right now, so I'm going to put it back on. It's weird. It's got... Oh. There's the cutouts. Had it upside down. Google Translate for the win. Have I tried scarf seams yet? No, I haven't had time to play with scarf seams yet. I'm running the new version of Orca Slicer that has them. I just haven't had time to play with them yet. So I've been too busy with all the machine builds and everything. More like Bing Translate, yeah. All right, flip this back up. I'm gonna get a multimeter on the ground lug back here. And let's see voltages. All right, multimeter is on the ground lug in the back of the machine. Power cable. Feel like this would be up to snuff for production work. Ordered one because the pre-order price was a bit too tempting for active chamber heating. I have no experience yet to really say. I know the X-Max 3 I thought was a pretty good machine for production type work, personally. So I'm expecting the same out of this. All right, I'm gonna power on now. Let's see if any magic smoke gets let out. I don't expect it. That was weird. For a split second, my TV like went black. Okay. Powered on. Machine is powering up. That's pretty clear. I'm gonna check voltage at the heater element. Nada. It's... Oh, oh. I can't quite tell. Oh, that's resistance. I'm set on resistance. I am sorry. That's wrong. Saw a couple of black flames on your feed too. Weird. Okay, let's try this again. That's not AC, is it? That's DC. AC voltage. Let's try this again. That's not hot. That's not live. What the heck? Mine has no voltage at idle, which is exactly what I expected. That's a behavior I expected. Why would it supply voltage when not active? I think the key was when active. See, I saw somebody on Twitter who said, I think DIY Perspective said it was live all the time, which is what really confused me. If it's only live when active, if there's only voltage on that thing when it's active, I'm sorry, but I don't agree that this is a controversy in the least. It is fully shrouded by plastic. It is completely covered on all sides. Yes, I could probably stick my finger through there and touch the fins. Totally. But that's like sticking your finger into a toaster. Sure, if I turn on a toaster and stick my finger in it, I'm gonna either get shocked or burned. Same situation here. If the heater's active, sure, I might get shocked if I touched it, but I'll also get burned because it's hot. It's like firing up a space heater and sticking your finger in it. I'm sorry, I don't really see the controversy here. Like, I would have preferred if they stuck with the 24-volt heater they were running in the Qidi in the previous machines. It'd have been lower voltage and safer, but let's just set this thing up, get it running.
I didn't get that. Could you try again?
If live and neutral was reversed, burning assembly, that could make it live all the time. Yeah. I mean, it's wired incorrectly, totally. The argument that it's dangerous while active is weird because wouldn't the same logic apply to a 220 degrees Celsius nozzle? Yeah, same thing with an AC bed. Fun fact, the old toasters, the reason you get electrocuted is mains voltage running through the heating element. Yeah. Wedging your roast out with a metal knife is carries consequences, everyone knows. Like, don't get me wrong, there should be a warning around that thing. Is it just people spreading rumors? I don't know. Let's keep working here and we'll figure this out. Let's get through the setup, maybe get this thing printing, and we'll play with it a little more yet. I've got to be careful here because I do have the back panel off. Is AC bed much more dangerous? No, it's the same. Yes, this is technically more dangerous than an AC bed, arguably. Like, AC bed, all of your AC contact points, so that's why you can't drop why you can't drown in a bathtub with a modern toaster. No, it's GFCI outlets. I don't think it's a conspiracy. People are just trying to be cautious. Totally. It's bamboo. They need a diversion. Yeah. Okay. Let's get rolling with setup. Continue. English. Remove all screws. Did that. I don't have the zip ties it's showing. Screws are out. About to move the platform. Cool. Let's throw a spool filament on here. Oh, I don't have the spool holder on anymore because I took off the side panel, the back panel. All right. Tool head. I gotta feed filament into here. Let me grab a spool. Some regular PLA here. Nothing special. I'm gonna do one of my favorite spool holders. Leave it on. I think it's because standards for products in the UK and EU are very strict around these things. I mean, maybe they are in the US and I'm not aware of them too. I'd love to know how hot the heater gets with trying to leave a door open. I mean, you're kind of forcing a failure state at that point. Doesn't mean that it's not a problem that could occur, but alright, heating up to 220 on the hot end. Is it UL listed? Hell if I know, I don't see any labels on it. Almost certainly not. I don't know. I don't think most printers are UL listed, honestly. 0G! Excited to see how this thing performs. Me too. I got it loaded up in Orca Slicer, so maybe we'll, after we do, maybe we'll run the Benchy, or we'll do a max flow rate test or something first. You let me know what you want to see. Would you prefer to just see a max flow rate test right out of the box? The tool head housing is all plastic. On the X-Max 3, it was metal. So I like to see that. Metal was overkill on that. UL listing is voluntary and incredibly expensive. Totally. Print some PA or PC. I'm not getting into that right now. I need to dry all the nylon I have. I get that that makes sense for long-term testing of the machine, etc., but nah. Okay, click the blah blah, waiting for temperature, you're up to temperature. Loading filament, I think. Continue. Okay. Let's get this thing to home. Now it's cooling off fast. I want to load filament next. Heating up. Loading. Oh, I see what the problem is. The filament's getting stuck before it gets to the sensor. The sensor's in the tool head. I see the problem. Oh, there's a harsh turn. I can feel it. You probably won't be able to see this. Let me switch cameras anyway and we'll take a look. It just like a Bamboo or a Creality K1 has this exact same problem. Yeah, you could probably just see it. Right about here, it gets really tough to push filament through. That's the problem, is it's not, because the filament runout sensor is in the tool head on this, so I'm not getting to the sensor yet. There we go. Cut the zip ties. There are no zip ties. It's clips attached to the cable chain. And then you still have the top on here. It's really not going to free up that much. This is a failure. This is one of those things where people copy Bamboo, and this is one of the things that Bamboo did that was not a good idea. So, people copying bad ideas. I still don't think it's in there. I don't think it's in the sensor far enough. I'll cut a little angle on the tip of this. Oh, God, that's tight pulling through there. It's so tight. This really needs like a 3mm reverse Bowden. I think this is a 2.5 or a 2mm. That's not helping matters. Oh wait, it looks like there's a runout sensor back here too. I think there's one in the tool head and one back here. Why? Heating. Isn't the sensor disabled out of the box? I don't know. I kept expecting it to pop up a message saying that it detected it, but it wasn't. Now I had to hit the next button. I couldn't see it from this angle. Tangle sensor in the back. Oh, tangle sensor. Okay, that's cool. So it's a travel sensor, not a runout. That makes sense. All right, now it's loading filament. There we go. Good, good, good. Cool. This runs Qidi's version of Klipper. Nero, I haven't looked yet, but Nero said that it's version 10 Klipper. So 2 versions behind. We're on version 12 now. Or 0.12. All right, filament loaded. Completed. Cool. Alright, I'm going to get this on the network quick. I'm going to turn this so I can see it. Get it on my network. Get it connected to my network. So far, it's going pretty well. Once you do a print, can you show sharp corners? My bamboo had way too much smoothing in the corners surrounding everything. We'll try and do that. As I sound out my password. This keyboard is weird. Okay. Connection successful. Yay! Give me my IP address now. Hey, got my IP address. I can pull it up and pull up. Let's see if it just gets right in or if I need a port address. Didn't get right in. I probably need a port address. All right. All right, 1088, 10088. Let's try that. 10. There we go. That works. 1000 or 188. Yes, that worked. Bloop. Got it pulled up here. Let's see if I can see what version of Klipper we're on. Ugh, I hate Fluid. Yep, we're on version 10. So 10.0-530. It's listing an RP2040 as the microcontroller. It's probably on the CAN toolhead. So the CAN toolhead is running. I don't like Fluid. I much prefer Mainsail. It's probably just that I'm used to Mainsail is honestly the problem. But anyway, all right. So yep, running their version of Klipper. Freaking outdated. At the very least, these companies need to get on 11, 0.11, because 0.11 brought around exclude object. It brought around arcs, native arc, and exclude object control, which are big functions in Klipper. I'm stuck on the Ender 3 NG. Is that running Klipper? I don't know. I know nothing about. I'm intending to run mine on Klipper when I build it, but yeah. Why does every company put their own skin of Klipper on? I know why companies use outdated versions. That I know. They use outdated versions because they need to validate things when shipping them. They can't just put the latest Klipper version on, because if they put the latest Klipper release that it came out this week on their machine and ship it out to you, then some little feature may be broken, borked, and not work properly. Or they'll use hardware that's not necessarily supported by mainline Klipper. That's a very common thing. They'll run some processor that they can get for 10 cents cheaper per processor, and it's not supported by mainline Klipper, but they have a programmer in-house who can set up a branch of Klipper to run that processor, and it makes more sense if they're going to sell thousands of units to do that. And just make it vanilla so we can update ourselves. There's the other problem. When they do it this way, they control updating, which for power users, for people used to Klipper, that really sucks. For the masses, that's actually a really good thing. Because if you've got Joe Schmo who has never used a Klipper machine before, this is the first Klipper machine they buy, and they just hit update in Klipper, and then it says, okay, now you need to update your MCU firmware because like version 12 just came out, and that was version 12 made everything need to update. You got to update your tool head board. You got to update your main board. And updating Klipper is the easiest way to break it. Absolutely. And now that becomes a support issue for Qidi Tech to walk you through updating it for every customer who doesn't know what they're doing. And it can be such a massive hassle. So while I wish they updated and had newer versions of Klipper, I also understand why they do that. I get it. They need to do software like Creality, make a custom one but allow rooting. Yes, I do agree. The ability to root. Now, make users tick a box like Creality. Yeah, and that's reasonable. I'm sure somebody's rooted these things by now. It's just running Armian. Like, I bet you could do it. I haven't looked into it. Because honestly, I haven't had that bad of an experience running their Klipper instances. I do wish it was a newer version personally, but that's me. All right, let's run the input shaper tune, and then we'll get to some testing. Just want to see where we're at. Updating. No update file detected. Yeah, I have to put it on the card. I wouldn't have done that anyway. I don't know why I even bothered to look. Manual. It didn't do an input shaper tune, so I want to see where that is in the menu system. Anytime now. When it's loading thumbnail images in here, this is getting really annoying. Updating Klipper forced me to become a power user on the Neptune 4. I believe that. Let me switch camera angles here. I want to get this camera turned and tuned up. So you folks can see the menu while I'm scrolling through it here. Alright, system. Exporting logs, no. Calibration, that's what I wanted. Input shaper. I'm going to assume it's going to have to home. This is our first homing. There is no carbon filter option in there. No. I don't know if that'll be an add-on or what. We did talk about earlier, there is a chamber fan, but it just dumps the heat into the electronics box, which is dumb. That sounded good. It's like it just skipped steps on this one motor for some reason. No idea. Alright, now we're input shaper tuning. There is an option to print a carbon filter container on their wiki. Okay, good. That's a good idea. That's a good idea, honestly. For people who don't need it, why put it in there? Now, it should probably come on the USB stick or something. Maybe we'll look and maybe it is there. I don't know. I can see the belt vibrating weirdly. Maybe print that filter as the first test? That's not a bad idea. There's enough space in the electronics box to create a duct. There totally is. Maybe I'll design one. There's definitely room in there. Have a small amount of desync between video and audio. Weird. I've tuned it in. Maybe it went out of sync on me. Is Rocky Mountain 20th and 21st? Oh, it is. I'm gonna be there from the 19th to the 21st. Whoops. Oh well, whatever. Hybrid Robotics, welcome. That's a heck of a vibration sound. Alright, waiting for calculations. I did decide to make it to Rocky Mountain. Yes, sorry, I did announce that. I haven't said it on stream yet. Now it's testing Y-axis. I am going to be at Rocky Mountain. I've got sponsors now and was able to justify it. Is the noise I'm hearing the vibration sound? Yes, it is. It's the vibration calibration going through. Everyone mash the like button, please do! I should be at Rocky Mountain. It's going to be a 20-hour drive for you. Fun! I am, of course, flying. I don't even know how long of a drive it would be for me. Let's see. Ba-ba-da-ba, 26-hour drive for me. 26 hours. No thank you. You only do that once. Yeah, you don't have to do this every time. I think it might do like a quick calibration check, but this is not something it does on a regular basis. The plastic housing makes it sound a lot worse. Yeah, I think you are correct. I do think you're correct on that. Too excited you hit the like button twice. As long as you hit it a third time. As long as you hit it a third time. Seven-hour drive for you, just need to justify it. Sounds like a drone. It does sound like a drone. Got my car reserved, hotel and flight booked. I booked a car, hotel, and flight myself. Yep. Watched Vector dismantle this thing yesterday. Yeah. Uh, 12-hour drive for you, John, but if you drive, you're more likely to bring stuff home. Good call. I will be turning things down. Maybe some sound dampening like my bamboo. Yeah, maybe. If I end up using this thing on a regular basis, that would make sense. Oh, I lost my mouse again. Too many screens. Alright, I'm just going to like manually look at the calibration data here real quick. I'm real curious. Shaper calibrate X. Recommended shaper on X is MZV. It reloaded. Hold on. Recommended shaper on X is MZV. Oh God, stop it. It saved the config when it finished that, and it reloaded everything on me. MZV, and MZV is only 6,900 recommended acceleration. How about on y-axis? Y-axis is MZV as well. That sounds good. Without seeing the graph, the fact that it's recommending MZV tells me that we don't have a really peaky graph. That's good. And on MZV, on y-axis, woo, it only recommends 4,700. I can't show the graph. I can't show the graph without remoting into it. What vibration percentage? Good question. Zero. 0.0 vibration percentage. So, I can't, without being able to remote in, I can't get the graph. And I don't know what the root password is and everything right now. It's probably simple, but round up, it's 10,000. Sure. Yeah, at 0%, that is, it's not bad. I don't know. I'm sure they're pushing the acceleration quite a bit beyond that. Okay. All right. I think we're ready. Let me do a tilt adjust, Z tilt adjust. It just crashed. Is the electronics bay completely separated from the chamber? Yes. What the heck was that? That was, I hit Z tilt adjust. And when I hit Z tilt adjust, it immediately rammed the tool head into the bed. Which means that it should have done a homing, I think, and it didn't. It didn't home for. I didn't home for sure, but it shouldn't have run Z tilt adjust without either having home built into the Z tilt adjust command or not allowed Z tilt adjust without homing. So now it's scraping its way along the bed because it didn't. Now that it's all jammed into it, it's not pulling the bed back down far enough to do it. Let me manually lower the bed. Okay, Angus was right. The lack of a handle on this door is dumb. Okay. Let me manually drag this down. Okay, try that again. Hope it's a double-sided plate. It is. It's a, you know, I'm just trying to make a smooth plate because I prefer smooth plates. So I'm just gonna little bit by little bit make a smooth plate out of it. So I just tried to do Z tilt adjust. Then I restarted the machine because it just rammed into the bed. And then after I did Z tilt adjust and restarted, I hit home, and that's what just happened when it homed. It tried to home without lowering the bed. There's a nice smooth spot on the bed now. When your tool head becomes a fly cutter. DIY milling on a 3D printer. Yep. All right. Let's try and home again. I'm just going to hit home all now. Let's see what happens. Hey, the bed lowered. Look at that. They need a lot of macro work, which this is not their first machine. That's so stupid. All right. Homed X and Y. Hey, it homed Z. Look at that. All right, I'm gonna replace the bed. It looks like it's a little, the sheet's a little off. There's no side stops on the sheet. It's a permanent signature on all the prints. Yep. Boy, it's really easy to put this bed sheet on here just wrong, and there's a frame around it that actually makes that a problem. There's like a plastic raised lip all the way around the bed, but it doesn't actually guide the bed into where it needs to be, but it will hold the sheet up off of, up off the bed a little bit. That's not cool. I wonder if it'll bend the nozzle. It's, the hot end in this is like the newest version of the Bamboo knockoff. So I don't know if you've seen the latest Bamboo knockoff hot end on AliExpress. It has bolts locating it, so it's supported, the heater block. It's not just floating out there. And it also has loaded an SVG to carve your signature. And it also has like a copper heatsink inside of an aluminum frame. I could probably pull it up. Yeah, here it is. Let me grab a screen share. Wrong one. This one. There it is there. Tri-metal hot end. So it's got 2 bolts supporting it, and then a copper heatsink, kind of like a dragon with an aluminum frame around it. This is the latest version of like the Bamboo knockoff that I've been seeing on AliExpress, and that's what it has in here with replaceable nozzles. So that's what this is using. Okay. All right, now let's try Z tilt adjust. Crash? Hey, it didn't crash. Look at that. So you must home before Z-tilt adjust, but there's nothing to prevent you from running Z-tilt adjust before homing. That's weird. Maybe it's that when I set up Z-tilt adjust on my machines, I add a home command to it? Wow. It reached tolerance that quick. I'm fucking shocked. Tolerance is 0.05 millimeter, which is not as fine as I would probably go, but that's not terrible. Okay. Let's do a bed mesh and see what the bed flatness looks like. And then we'll see what a bed mesh looks like after it runs. It looks like a 36-point mesh, if I'm guessing right. Ever used a beacon? I haven't used a beacon yet. I thought Klipper natively prevents leveling without homing. Yeah, so did I. That's why I didn't worry about hitting Z-tilt. Unless they set up their own macro. Spoiled by beacon speed, yeah. I haven't set up beacon on any of my machines yet. I'm doing it on the Trident build that we were working on right now on stream. Oh, for anybody who's asking, the filament runout sensor looks like it is disabled. Yeah, it was disabled. So, yeah, I haven't set up beacon yet on any of my machines. I will be on the Trident build, the hot rod Trident we're building right now with the 9mm belts. And then I'm probably going to put the cartographer knockoff one on my Mercury one. I have one and it's open chamber, so I might as well. Could use it on the Mercury with that CNC tool head. That's what I'm gonna do. I got in the CNC gantry, the Physec gantry for the Merc one. So I'm gonna make a point of doing an update stream probably sometime in the not too distant future. Get the mechanical system with that, use that VZBot CNC tool head, that lighter weight gantry. Install the cartographer probe, and then I gotta update all the firmware and change around the configuration on that stuff. All right, bed mesh. Not the prettiest in the world. Let me switch cameras here real quick. So, that's not helping. Deviation is 0.660. Not the best for a cold bed. Not the best for a cold bed of only 250 by 250. Doesn't look like any of the corners are caught on anything, sticking them up any. It's not tacoed, so that's a good thing. Bet the bed mesh looked better before the head crashed and tacoed the bed. Maybe. I do not have a VZBot. No. What we were referring to... Let me switch camera angles back here. What we were referring to was... I've got a VZBot toolhead from the VZBot team. So the CNC toolhead like a VZBot runs on my for my Mercury 1. It does have independent Z motors. Yes, it does have independent Z motors. So it's got 2 Z motors and does Z tilt adjust. change Z tolerance. I could. I'm just gonna run it as is right now. If and when I run it, I will reduce the Z tolerance. 0.05 is too much in my opinion. Still tilted after level. Yeah, I don't think so. Maybe, but I don't think so. The mesh is not representing that, because the mesh is showing a high front to back. It's not showing a high side to side. The low point is the front of the bed. The high point is the back of the bed on the mesh currently. Okay, let's get this thing running. Let's get a print running. I'm gonna heat it up and we're gonna run a max flow rate test. Let me grab Orca Slicer quick. I haven't looked at the Orca Slicer profile for this thing at all yet, so let me add it in. There is an Orca Slicer profile for this already. I just got to add my Wi-Fi connection. I'm going to... Probably needs a port number. Yeah, it needs the port. Test again. There we go. Alright. Created. Does it have bed adjustment wheels? I don't know. Probably. Maybe. There is a bed screw adjust. Not really. I don't know, but I want to go messing with that right now. There are there are load cells. There are no bed wheels. There's lock nuts on 3 different points with a load cell at each corner. I don't know about that. I don't know if I want to go messing with that. All right, let me. I got Orca Slicer pulled up here. Get this thing preheating. 220. It does have nuts and comes with a wrench. There's also a bed screw adjust command. You can see it right here below the below me on the screen. You already run Z offset. I have not run Z offset. It has load cell auto Z offset. I don't think I'm supposed to have to do Z offset. Let me double check the instructions. There is not a load cell sensor in the tool head. There's a load cell sensor on the bed. There's 3 load cell sensors on the bed, like Creality K1. Let me switch back. Yeah, there's 3 load cell sensors at each point of the bed. It has an inductive probe. I don't know why it has an inductive probe and bed sensors, but it does. There's an inductive probe on the tool head, and then bed sensors. Gonna print the Zoll parts? No. I already printed the Zoll parts on my 2.4, and I got that fixed up now. It was a combination. The issues I was having was a combination of the wrong part I printed, one of them. I don't know how I mixed up parts, whatever. Outdated Zoll parts. For some reason, somewhere in my downloading the repository, it got overwritten. It was weird. And then I remixed some stuff because I just wasn't happy with the Zoll design overall, personally. Alright, I'm just looking through here. The start guide to be sure that I'm not missing anything. Yeah, it says nothing about running Z offset. It's supposed to do auto Z offset, so I'm not going to touch anything. I want to see what it does. If it scrapes the bed, it's not my fault. It does not say it in the instructions. This is supposed to have the auto Z offset. They're listing that as a marketing feature. So we're going to run it. Alright, back to Orca Slicer. Bloop. Alright, back here in Orca Slicer, I got this loaded up. Q1 Pro. No, I'm not running nylon. No. There's not a basic PLA profile default in Orca Slicer. Let me check this filament profile real quick. 210's too cool for this filament. Orca Q1, where to get the Orca profile for the Q1, it's already in Orca Slicer, in the nightly release. If you check out the Orca Slicer nightly release, it's already in there. I just downloaded it today off of the Orca Slicer repository, and this was in there. Qidi did provide me Orca Slicer for this, but I didn't have to use it. All right, let's run the max flow rate test. That's not what I want. I want max flow rate. We're going to go, I don't expect it to hit 30. Let's do 15 to 35 and see how far we get. I should really tune filament in before I do this, but here we are. All right. I'm going to start a little higher. What is this profile at? They've got this... Oh. Wow. They had this profile all the way down to 12. Let me switch to the other PLA. PLA-CF. Discard. Yeah, they've got it set at 12. 12 millimeters cubed. Whew. That is slow. I'm going to print this 220, 225. Alright. Now, calibration, max flow rate. Starting at 15, I'm just going to go to 30. I don't think it's going to hit 30. I'm betting we're probably going to top out in 25-ish. We're going to find out. Transfer. Yes. Slice. Let me look at this. Yep. It's ramping up in speed as it's supposed to. Alright. Sending it to the printer. Alright. Heating up. What I miss in chat? That could all be done with the sensors in the bed. Yeah, I don't know why they're doing it the way they're doing it, but you're right. It could be done with the sensors in the bed, leveling and homing. I don't know why they're using the tool head mounted sensor, but they are. Am I still in? Oh, haha. You folks are still seeing the whole screen. Oops, I forgot to change scenes. It's purging onto its little wipe tower thing for some stupid reason. What's the warning on the screen? Good question. I don't know. I don't know. It went away. I don't know what it said. Andrew, off to pick up your mini-me. All right, have yourself a good one. I have no idea how it works, but I already prefer this over the X-Max in appearance. Looks toyish, the X-Max, you're saying. Yeah, I get that. First time on stream, welcome. I have no idea how to pronounce your name. I'm sorry. Slivanuk? Thank you for being here. What's your favorite ABL sensor? I think going from Pinda to BL Touch. I'm not a big BL Touch fan. I find the variance a little too high for me. I run Clicky Probe on the majority of my machines, I guess, that I've put sensors on that aren't like what they come with. I don't really have a favorite. Part of the problem with when people ask me favorites is I try different things as much as I can to get experience. And so I don't necessarily have like a favorite of things. Doing a quick bed sweep and a quick head sweep just to check that nothing's bound up. Doing a lot of bed sweeping. Gonna try flex tap on my Trident. What's flex tap? I haven't looked into that one. I've really not looked at tap stuff much because the tap just really doesn't interest me. I don't want to add another point of possible movement into my tool head, and I don't want to lose y-axis build volume. Giving away your Ender 3 V3 KE to a better home. Has to do that sometimes, right? So it looks like it has camp pre-installed. It's running a bed mesh where it needs to, not full bed. Good to see. I know the X-Max 3 had camp pre-installed.
I didn't get that.
I don't care. It's broken. I can't fix it. Oh, that's sad to hear. Sorry to hear that. I don't know what happened, but the clicky I made from a Salvage Creality end stop has been more consistent than the one I made from an Omron switch. Honestly, I've had bad luck with Omron switches and clicky. I've had that problem too. Yeah, I don't know. I've had consistency issues. I've had failures to read properly. I switched to a PCB clicky personally. Oh, it's a fully printed tap. The mount flexes to trigger. Okay. PCB clicky rules. Yeah, I put PCB clicky on my 2.4 and it's been a lot more reliable than the Omron switch was. Yeah, purge then cool down. That does seem to be what it does. A very strange... I saw Angus made a point about that, and that is very strange. It's nonsensical. Alright. Why did the light just turn on? Here we go. It's doing a purge. And it still does a purge line anyway. Alright. Laying down the brim of the high speed, the speed test. We're running a speed test right now, a high flow test. It could be squishing the base layer a little more. It might be bed mesh though. It's looking better in the middle than it is out at the edge. I can see just a slight gap. Or that might be the way the light's catching it. Could be a really cheap peak printer. I don't know about that. I think that's probably pushing the capabilities of this thing. I could do live Z adjust. I could. I don't think the bed can even get hot enough on this to do peak. Let me take a look at the specs. Yeah, the bed can get to 120. The bed can get up to 120. That's like the minimum you would want for peak, but Angus is gonna try it. Cool. I don't have any peak to even bother. I'm not bothering with peak till I build an insulated machine. Not even gonna waste my time. Though I thought it was funny when I was at E3D. When I was at E3D and was working in their office for a day, they were printing peak in an open air Trident. Are there configs online for this? I doubt it. I doubt there is yet. Let me see if any of the firmware or stuff is available on Qidi's site yet. Software and firmware. Q1 Pro. Yep, actually they released a new firmware yesterday. So it's probably in here. Let me grab it and drop it in chat. It's probably config in here. Haven't looked into it. There might be one in there. I have no idea what PEEK is, but it's hell of expensive. Yes, yes it is. It's just an engineering material. High temperature thresholds, good layer bond adhesion when properly printed. There's a difference between printing PEEK and printing PEEK well. Like E3D, I was joking, they were printing on an open air Trident. That was never going to be a strong part. Like, you can print PEEK, but it may not layer adhere properly unless it's in a properly heated chamber. So there's a difference between printing something and printing it well. Now the base profile for this material is set to 12 millimeters cubed per second. Now that's Orca Slicer, so I don't know. I think you can autoclave PEEK. I think you're right about that. I know PEEK's been used for making like F1 parts and stuff. Like engine parts. It can handle higher temperatures, so like intake manifolds and intake bugles, you know, velocity stacks. Withstands temps 300 plus. It needs to be annealed for that, doesn't it? One PEEK spool is as expensive as a cheap Trident kit. Yeah, it is not cheap stuff. I'll play with it someday, maybe, but oof. All right, off and running on speed test. Flow rate test, I should say. So right now, I feel like fluid is very slow. Maybe a nice sponsor can send you some. Well, Polymaker is my filament sponsor, and they don't have PEEK. So I struggle to print PC without warping. I tried printing some polycarbonate on my 2.4 this week. It didn't go well. It needed to be dried and tuned, and I really didn't tune it. I just freaking threw some temps at it and tried it. All right. I don't think Stratasys gives away anything. I don't think they do either. I think they charge you for the privilege. Oh, filament width sensor. I think this sensor in the back is... Huh. Is this sensor in the back a filament width sensor? That's weird. The next 2.4 build is going to be black and blue. It's going to be black and blue. I kind of locked into that because I have an LDO blue frame for it. And then I'm going to be using Doom Cube corners, which only come in black. So, kind of locks in my color scheme. Maybe I should center up this camera a little better. Scored a Micro Center 2.4 350 frame for $50. Rad. What's a Doom Cube corner? I thought Doom meant the top hat is the frame size. No. Doom Cube is a 4040 extrusion machine, The official Doom Cube has the electronics on top. There's various changes about the Doom Cube, but Doom Cube corners are Doom Cube corners are 40/40 extrusions, first of all. But LDO Doom Cube corners are a rounded 40/40. Did the Orca profile have acceleration set, or is it a default profile? Good question. Don't know. Right now, this is running... It's running 5,000 acceleration at the moment, so it could absolutely be pushed harder. I'm gonna go with it's probably... Yeah, I think it's tuned a bit. The default Orca profile is a bit tuned.
I didn't get that.
I don't care. Once the 2.4 build is done, are you going to do an overview video on Mandic Relay? Yes, I probably will, just because I committed to doing that. Because a lot of sponsors have provided parts for that build. So yes, there will be an overview video about that machine once it's built. Yeah. There'll probably be some build streams as I'm building it too. I think I just heard it skip already. Where's my mouse? Yep, already skipping. Alright, I'm already getting skips in the extrusion. Let me try bumping temperature to 225 and just see if that makes a difference. But we've already hit our flow rate limit. That's what I get for not really running a filament spool holder. I just had it sitting on the desk. I think bumping a temperature might have helped. So we were maxing out. Flow at 220 degrees Celsius, which is, this is Inland. The filament is Inland brand PLA Plus, so Micro Center house brand, which I usually print at like 215 to 220, somewhere in there. At 220, we maxed out flow rate at 20, I think 20 or 22 millimeters cubed per second. Honestly, the readings on, heard Inland is Polymaker. I don't necessarily agree with that. Inland is white box, so they use a lot of different stuff. Yeah, bumping it to 225 definitely helped. Got to get a thermocouple and verify temps. Realistically, there's not much of a point to getting a thermocouple and verifying temps. You really just need to tune filaments on each machine. Like, it'd be a lot easier. Oh my God, Siri, go away. Throw my watch away. Okay, now we're skipping again. At like, fluids, like 26 millimeters cubed, it looks like. For review purposes. I'm not reviewing this machine. I am no longer doing any reviews. I am done. They are a waste of my time. Yeah, we can cancel this. It's skipping left and right now. So, hot end maxed out on this particular PLA in this particular test at like 20 to 22 millimeters cubed per second. Not particularly impressive. And well short of their claimed like 35. On one material in one test. But they get views. Gotta monetize. Nope, they do not get views. I did a whole rant about this on Twitter recently. Norton Tech, welcome. My highest viewed review of all time. My highest viewed review of all time is the Anycubic Cobra Max at like 100,000 some views. It has paid me in monetized AdSense dollars. It has paid me 400 something. It's paid less than the machine cost to buy. I was sent that machine. I didn't have to buy it, but it's not worth my time. I probably put 60 hours into that review, and if you do the math, I basically made minimum wage for that review. It's not worth my time. Sad reality of it is, reviews take significantly longer than they pay. They're not worth it. Yeah. Sad. It's sad but true. I don't like the idea of not doing reviews, but it frees me up to do other stuff. You know, I'll do more fun, interesting projects. We'll just use machines, and I'll throw in some thoughts about them as we go. Initial impressions of the Q1 Pro. Interesting. It's some hiccups. Definitely looks like they've got some firmware side things to clear up and fix up. Let's get the, I'm going to lower the bed a little bit and let's check again. We'll activate the chamber heater and check voltages. I'm going to lower the bed. It's probably, I might have just commanded the bed too far. I don't know. Yeah, move out of range. Okay, I can see the bed now. You could do reviews of your DIY builds. I'm going to do overviews of my DIY builds. Okay, let's get a perspective inside the machine. Change camera angles. All right, multimeter time. Multimeter in here. I want to check the multimeter off of the power supply. Alright, let's check the multimeter off the power supply to check for voltage. Is my multimeter reading properly? My meter might not be reading properly. Let me check what we got here. It's set to DC, that's why. Each time my multimeter resets, it sets to DC by default. There we go. 120 volts at the power supply. Chamber heater is AC powered. To my knowledge, yes. Yeah, no, it's definitely going down to that SSR. Alright, let's check it again. In the terminal, in here. So, it is not live when inactive. When inactive, it is not live. No voltage. Good. Alright, now let's power it up. Send some chamber heat to it. How do I... Oh, there it is. 60. Alright, chamber heater is active. 100% active right now. $120 volts. Alright, 120 volts. On the middle of it, because the outer sides are consuming voltage. So I'm only getting 120 volts in the middle. So yes, it is 110 volt live voltage through the heater. If I donate 20 bucks, will you touch it? No, I won't. Let me turn this a little more so the camera can see better and get a closer perspective. And let's talk about this one more time. Okay. Here's the deal. So, chamber heater, right down there, has a full shroud around it. Exactly. Nobody should touch that when it's... Here's where I'm at. Nobody should be touching that when it's active. And it's only live when it's active. This is like any other heater element. You shouldn't be touching a heater element when it's active. Space heater, your baseboard heater, like, that's just reality. I understand the concern that people have. I honestly think it's overblown. My opinion. Now, I think there should be a warning on that. Do not touch or something. There's no warning label on the thing at all. There should be. Like the original 24 volt one that came in the X-Max, I'm pretty sure had a warning on it. Let me grab that real quick. I have one right back. Okay, another Voron kit. Let me lower the desk a little bit. Is the bed AC as well? I don't know, but I don't think so. Now, I believe the AC is 24. The bed is 24 volt. Okay, let me switch here real quick. Okay. Let me look in this box real quick. DC. The bed is DC. Sorry, that's what I mean. All right. Should be a bed heater in here. Not a bed heater, a chamber heater. Unless I don't know where the heck I put it. I have one of these I don't see it. I don't know where I put it. Might be in another box. This is all parts for the okay. I still have this thing actively heating, trying to heat. I mean, it's not amazingly hot air coming out of that thing. I'm touching the screws on it right now, which are mounted into plastic, and they're fine. So, alright, you can stop heating up. Should we print something actual? Zero G wanted something with square corners on it. What should I print with square corners on it? Let me see what's on the SD card real quick. Would definitely be better with an AC bed and a 24 volt heater. Yeah, I do agree. I don't understand why they switched to a 110 volt heater when the X-Max has a 24 volt chamber heater. Doesn't really make sense to me, but here we are. I want to see what's on the SD card. By SD card, I just mean the memory of the machine. Build bed screw blocks. I don't know what that's about. First layer test. Thicker filament holder. I don't know. How long will this take to print if I try it? 13 minutes. Let's print this. I don't know what it is, but we're printing it. Don't know what this is, but we're printing it. How do you like the sample coil of filament that came with it? I don't know. Threw it aside. It's a joke. Vectorize the gene drawing and print it for the background. Yeah. The background, my background is getting an update. That's the next project on Manic Really, probably, is a whole background update, and that's a whole project I'm not ready to talk about, but it's coming. Prusa also does sample coils. I don't I don't fault companies for doing this. Like, I get it. Whatever. It's pointless, but I get it. I don't know. Either I prefer if they just send a spool filament, but at least you can do something. Like if you weren't into printing, you can get the machine, you can run it with something, do a test print, and then go buy some filament. I get it. I don't know. No readable configs in the repository. It's probably all in a package because it updates itself. I mean, the frame structure is all metal. The actual moving parts are mounted to a metal frame. John, thanks for being here. Check back later for some updates on Twitter. I'll be posting stuff on Twitter. You're going to bring back the Hot Rod Hippie background. It's already in the other side of the studio. The Hot Rod Hippie background appears in some videos from time to time. What are you doing? Yeah, it just purged. Now it's cooling off the hot end. I don't think this is targeted to printing noobs. Yeah, that's reasonable. This is definitely like not a noob setup. It's a step up from that. Hexagon wall lights. Nah. This is such a weird procedure. There's no point to purging on this stupid little thing that just makes it look like a bamboo. Because it's just going to do a purge line on the bed anyway. Console's not auto-scrolling, which is really annoying. It does clean the nozzle for Z-probe. Like, I totally understand why it does that, but it doesn't Z-probe right away. I don't know. Like, I get why it does it, and I also don't. Ah, too high. Trapezoids of a new hot shape. Do you like the desk I made? Thank you. Having a standing desk is so freaking helpful for working on projects. It really is legitimately helpful. Loving the studio setup. Thank you. Yeah. Like, it's like, don't get me wrong, it's not the most stable bench on the face of the planet, but it works for working on things. It's just functional. How terrible is the wide sides holder? I didn't put it on yet. I got the electronics panel off on the back, which doesn't allow me access. Or, which is where it mounts, so I can't put it on right now. There's a space on the backside of the tool head, a little circle opening with 2 screw holes. It looks like they intended to put a fan in there, but they never did. There's no fan, but there's space for a fan. Ooh, the Z offset is way too tight. Way too tight. Way too tight. I'm baby stepping it. Alright, I'm at 0.1 millimeter and I think it might be okay now. Can't have first layer issues if it's part of the bed, you're right. Sounds like it might be skipping. It's probably because it was too tight to the bed. It really feels like they were working on an AMS clone at the last second, decided, nah, I think you're right. It really does feel that way. What's acceleration at on this file? 10,000. Changing camera angles. What's the clicking? From the PTFE tube? Yeah, I think it is PTFE tube. I thought it was skipping steps, but it doesn't seem like it is. Jim from Edge of Tech just gave me an X-Max 3. It looks solid. I liked the X-Max 3. I enjoyed that machine. I got rid of mine because I just can't keep everything, but I did like the machine. Looks like focus is a bit soft. The auxiliary part fan is nice and quiet. I don't know. I've had good experience with Qidi machines. I really have. I've had good experiences with them. They're definitely not as polished as Bamboos. Like, Bamboos are just more polished machines overall. Have you run TMC Auto-Tune on any of your printers? Yeah, I run it on most of my machines. Most of my Klipper setups I have TMC Auto-Tune on. It's wonderful. I don't know what the heck this part is we're printing, but it's there. I don't know what it is. Something on the memory of the machine. What is TMC Auto-Tune? It's a script that automatically adjusts the TMC settings on drivers. Yeah, there are like fine controls of motor drivers built into firmware that we usually don't adjust on machines. And TMC Auto-Tune goes in based off of the specific parameters of your motors, which you have to either know the specific parameters of your motors, or it has a database of motors that are built into it, that it already has all the settings pre-dialed in, and it will use those to tune your motors more precisely than just typical Klipper parameters are. You can set it for higher performance settings, you can set it for quieter motor settings. I think there's a third option too. I forget what it is. Balanced or something like that. Is it worth doing on my Klipper Ender 5? I think it's worth doing if you have the motor settings. Look at the, if you just search for TMC Auto-Tune Klipper, you'll find the database, the GitHub repository for it. Look into it a little bit to see if it's got audio performance on silent. It's got error. It's got motor database for like various motors. It probably has stock Reality motors. Yeah. So I would look into it a little bit, but I like it. I run it on my Mercury 1, all of my Vorons. I think it's all I have it on right now, because it's the only Klipper machines I can really run it on. Yeah, there are a lot of steppers on the database. There are. It can use spread cycle but be quieter, yes. It can reduce the sound of stepper motors even running spread cycle, yes. You can add the settings for your motors if it doesn't have them, but there are a lot of pretty technical specifications you need to know about your motors, and they're not always public information. Like, I wouldn't put TMC Auto Tune on this machine because I don't have any of the stepper information I need for that. And I can't just learn it from the config, really. Looks to me like the found it on Google, fortunately. Cool. It can be tricky to find data sheets for motors. Yeah, it's one of the things I like about running LDO motors is generally you can find a data sheet for any of their motors and get the information you need for that kind of stuff. LDO Motors, sponsor of my trip to Rocky Mountain Rep Rap Festival 2024. Just a little brief moment there. They are sponsoring my trip to Rocky Mountain this year. Thank you very much to LDO Motors for that. Also Big Tree Tech and Fabrico. Anybody who's going to be attending Rocky Mountain Rep Rap Festival this year, I'm going to be in the Fabrico booth for a chunk of the weekend. Fabrico is having me hang out, doing a little meet and greet, chatting shops, all the stuff we talk about on stream or whatever. We can chat about stuff. There's going to be some new stuff to see there as well. So can't say more than that, but there will be some new stuff in that booth. Pretty sure Big Tree Tech will have some new stuff too, I believe. So they told me anyway. Again, can't say more than that, but we're less than a month away now, so. Coming down, there's still a fair bit on this print. Gotta go, thanks for being here, Hybrid. See me there if your schedule opens up. Awesome. Monster Ducky. That'd be rad. Looks like another X1C. Yeah, it's pretty much another X1C clone, but at a pretty darn good price. I mean, realistically, this is a clone of an X1C with active chamber heating. So higher temperature materials, that's a bonus. And right now it's less than $500 for the early bird price. Let me pull it up real quick. Grab my link. That's not what I meant to do. I meant to copy that. Already sold out in the EU. That stinks. How do I pin comments? Pin message. There we go. Pin. Alright, I just dropped the affiliate link for this machine into chat. It's a steel for the chamber, heated chamber. Price-wise is why I got the X Smart 3. That little thing has no competition. I mean, you're not wrong. I should have requested an X Smart 3 to play with from Qidi. It really does seem like a heck of a deal. Might have to work on a PTC chamber heater for my next build. Yeah, I'm 0G. I robbed the chamber heater from a Qidi X Max, the 24 volt version that comes in that one, for my next build. So pretty good price. I've seen K1s for $365 at Micro Center Open Box. That's a better price, and I'd say you're looking at a very similar build quality between a K1 and this, honestly. I think some things I like about this better than the K1 personally. I don't know. I was never a fan of the K1. It just did not catch me. $79% of the way through this print. Looking at this print, from my perspective right now, not having it off the bed, I think it looks like it's a little, this uses outdated klipper, which is a plus for me. All right. The pressure advance value is not tuned in properly on this print, but it's also just using whatever filament I threw at it, so, you know. I'm content with still upgrading my Ender 3 Pro. Good for you. Like, legitimately, good. If you're happy with it, if it works for your needs, awesome. That's what matters. Always chasing the new hotness is definitely a bit silly. I'm looking at this back here. Inside of the electronics box, there's an opening in the back. It looks like they originally planned to have this be a single motor, like a Bamboo, with the motor in the back for the Z-axis and probably a belt. Because I can see there's like a slotted mounting point for a NEMA 17 motor back here, and it's actually where the wiring passes through for the chamber heater. Weird. Almost done this print. Where are we at here? 90% of the way done. 90% of the way done. Bloop. Some random print that was on the card. No idea what it is. We'll find out. Scrutiny. Soval SV01 with a million mods, and love it. That's what matters. I've never used any Soval printers. Where's Jean? She was in the thumbnail. She was here at the beginning. She's taking a nap. Oh. She's taking a nap right at the corner of the desk. I started 3D printing during shutdown in 2020, and it seems like I buy a new printer every year so far. All right. Fun fact for you, I started 3D printing during lockdown. I have not been 3D printing that long, honestly. Hate seeing 0G in chat because I really want to do a conversion on my E5 Plus, but have been lazy. Well, we're not. Just reminds me I need to do it. Well, we are here to give you bad. I don't want to say bad advice, but to give you bad. Whoa, that is really crammed to the bed because that first layer was so damn tight. Claw 42 did a review. Yeah, I haven't watched it yet. The only video I've watched. The only video by anybody else I've watched is Angus's so far. I don't even know why I did that. I usually prefer not to watch. Microphone's right in front of my face. I usually prefer not to watch videos before I mess with a machine. Honestly, print looks pretty good. A little rounded on the corners down here. I'll show a closer view of this in a second. But a little rounded on the corners before it reached the part where it had to slow down for the like U shape up here at the top. No building of Voron at Remurf. No, I'm freaking done building Vorons at shows. Alright, I'm gonna switch camera angles real quick and get a closer view of this print. Alright. overall, it looks pretty good. Layers consistency looks okay. Probably hard to tell on camera right now, but it looks okay. The biggest thing I can see, like Zero G was asking about rounding, there's a bit of rounding in this corner right here before it gets to this U saddle point. Once it gets to that and it has to slow down for these back and forth movements, it gets a lot crisper on this corner. So seems to me like the input shaper is probably a bit aggressive, if I had to guess. But also, there's no, I haven't tuned in pressure advance. I'm just using whatever was dialed in factory, so who knows. Includes files to print to return it. Maybe that's what this is. I have no idea. Yeah, for absolutely no tuning, this print looks solid. Wish it had 30 millimeters more in X and Y. Yeah, I thought it was, I swore when they reached out to me about this machine, let me lower the desk. I swore when they reached out about this machine that it was a 300 millimeter build volume, or closer to, not 250. So, a little disappointed by that. But, I don't know. It works. I mean, 250 is a good day-to-day printer size. Honestly, the printer I use the most is my 300 Voron, which is honestly overkill. Imagine they have a Plus coming? Probably. I would bet. They're just iterating. They're improving things step by step. My initial impressions, some quirks, which honestly my initial impressions are the same as my initial impressions with the last couple Qidi machines. Definitely some quirks. Wish it was running newer Klipper. But honestly, a lot of potential and seems like a solid setup. So, I see some serious potential here if I can put some tuning time in on it and get it working right. Oh, I don't think I've mentioned there's a 1080p camera right out of the box. The Qidi X-Max doesn't have that at twice the price of this. So, dual independent Z-axis motors for Z tilt adjustment. Machine has potential. For less than $500 right now, I'm impressed. Definitely some quirks. I'm hoping that they're going to improve the firmware and macros a little bit, but I see some potential with the machine. We'll play with it more. Wish it had one more Z motor. Yeah, tri-motor wouldn't be a bad thing, but I'm also really, I didn't show or talk about it. I used Orca Slicer for testing here, but I actually really like their slicer. They took Prusa Slicer, skinned it, but they also rolled in some updates. They took things from Orca Slicer and put them into Prusa Slicer, like the device tab for monitoring and managing the machine. And that's a pretty solid thing in my opinion. Seems really big for the build size. Yeah, it is a fair bit bigger than the X1. I'm kind of looking at it. My X1's behind the camera over there, and it's definitely a fair bit bigger. A door handle. Yeah. Honestly, it's not terrible to grip. I can push it with my thumb and grab it, but I do wish it had more of a grip. The X-Max had that. I don't know why this doesn't. I wonder if it's just as hard to work on as bamboos. No. I can tell you already it's not. I'm in the electronics box. The wiring is much more like typical. There's worse for the money. Yeah, there's definitely worse for this much money. Agreed. Still want to do hotbed can pop popcorn. We're not going to do that in this stream. I think that's where we're going to wrap it up for this one, folks. We got a solid print off of it. We tested some flow rate. We had some quirks with the way it ran, leveling and all that. And we confirmed that the heater element is not live unless activated, which in my opinion is reasonable. So I'm going to take some pictures and post on. Is a Q1 an improvement over the X Plus and X Max? I think so. Minor improvement. It's a minor improvement. It feels, honestly, the biggest improvement thing to me is that it does auto Z adjust. Now, I've done 2 prints so far. One of them, it did beautifully auto Z adjusting. The second one, it did not. The second one, it was too tight. So might need a little tuning on that, but that alone, like I didn't like having to do Z adjust on the X Max 3. wasn't difficult, but I didn't love having to do it. I also didn't like that the X-Max 3, this front, you can see inside the front of the door on this. That's what I was about to say. This forehead bar on the X-Max 3 was way too big, and it was really hard to see your first layer. This, so much better. Speaking of Orca Slicer, I migrated Super Slicer and transferred my setting, but estimation is totally off in Orca. Like 10 hours predicted, 17 actual print time. My number one guess would be accelerations. I'm wondering if your Orca profile has higher accelerations than your machine limits do. So, because Orca will estimate speed based off of acceleration. So if your acceleration in your profile is set to 20,000, it'll be a lot faster than if your machine limits are only set to like 5,000. It can't actually achieve that. Be my first guess. Or your max velocity limits might be set in your firmware, not allowing it to achieve the settings that Orca is setting forward. I found Orca to be fairly accurate for me, so I can't say much more than that. Got one on order, probably donated to a local makerspace. Oh, awesome. I need to find a local makerspace and or schools to start donating machines to. That's almost certainly where this will end up. Maybe I'll make a point of seeking out a school or something to donate this to. Really curious about the Klipper config and how the load cells are implemented. Don't know. I know the PO Poly folks with the Magneto X are using a load cell on the tool head, and they've been working with the Klipper team on integrating load cell stuff into Klipper. So no idea. I doubt Qidi's doing that, but maybe. All right, folks, I think that's where we're going to wrap it up for this one. That is the Q1 Pro. There's an affiliate link in the description, also in the chat pinned right now. To this machine, early bird price is less than $500 in the US anyway, at $469. I believe they're in stock, ready to ship. Personal opinion, I'm not worried about that bed heater personally. I'm going to make a post on Twitter about that very soon. Like after the stream, I'm going to take some pictures so I can post on Twitter about that. I'm not worried about it personally. That's me. I can understand being overly cautious. I totally get that, but Spool holder's too flimsy. Yes. I haven't put it on. I don't know. It very well may be. I haven't even tried it yet. All right, folks. That's it for this one. I appreciate you folks. Let's get the star of the show back up here. Come on. Come say bye. She was taking a nap. She's not happy about it. What do you think? Does it get the Gene seal of approval? Does it get the seal of approval? She says, I want to go back to sleep. That's what she thinks. You turn your back on the printer? Huh? All right, folks. I will catch you all in the next one. Thank you for being here. We'll be back to work on the Trident probably tomorrow, I think. Either Trident or maybe the 0.2 project. I'm not 100% certain. So, all right. Thanks for coming around. Turn the heater off and she'll get inside. Yeah, maybe. All right. Thank you, folks. I shall see you in the next one. Whenever the heck I can get back to the window that has control here. All right.